Hey guys, in this video we are talking about all the great ways to improve ankle mobility. We're going to do some self-massage techniques, we're going to do exercises, and we're going to do different stretches, all to improve the mobility of your ankles. Make sure you watch until the end. Some of the best exercises will be at the end of the video. Let's get into it. For all the new people who have not yet been to our channel, welcome. My name is Dr. David and we provide educational content on strengthening, stretching, getting out of pain, and improving your movement. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, like in all of our videos, before we get into how to improve the ankle mobility, we have to first talk about what makes it stiff so that you guys at home understand what you're working on to improve the mobility. There are really only two ways that the ankle can stiffen up. Way number one is tightness in the muscles around the ankle. See picture over here. Way number two is stiffness in the ankle joint. So we're going to cover techniques to work on both, loosening up the muscles around the ankle and loosening up the joint capsule itself. So this way, regardless of whatever's causing you tightness and pain, we're going to work on both mechanisms to reduce it. All right, guys, before we get into how to improve the mobility, I want to show everyone how to do a quick self-test at home to see how do I even know if I'm stiff. So this is how you know. You're going to come into this half kneel position. I want everyone doing this at home. And you're going to take your fist, you're going to come right next to a wall, bring the fist between your toe and the wall. Once you have that length, bring the hand away, and you're going to bring the knee forward as far as you can. Now, what's normal mobility in the ankle is when your knee is able to touch the wall without the heel coming off. If the heel comes off and you're not able to touch the wall without keeping that heel on the floor, that means you have a significant restriction in your ankle mobility, which means that we need to do all the techniques that we're going to do today in order to improve it. If your knee is able to get right to the wall without the heel coming up, that means you are pretty good for ankle mobility. So try both sides and see if there is a difference between the two sides. With a lot of people, there certainly is. Muscles that control the ankle are located in this area here, right above the ankle until the knee. And so the first thing we're going to do is a great self-massage technique. Now, I use what's called a tiger tail, which I think is the best stick or handheld foam roller to act as a self-massage technique. So first what we're going to do is tackle this muscle over here called the Tibialis Anterior. This controls the mobility when your toes are pushing down. So if there's a lot of tightness and restrictions here, you're going to have pain when you push the toes down. And you're just going to grip the foam roller and just get right into it. The muscle is located right to the outside. There's a bone right here called the tibia, and it's right to the right side of the bone. And we're just going to go back and forth like so. If you see a spot or you feel a spot that's really tender, hold on that spot and just wait for it to release. And then move on to another spot. And we're just going back and forth. The next area we're going to do is the complete side of the leg. So before we were just to the side but in the front of the leg, now we're going way to the outside of the leg. To help with that, just bring the knee in like so. Take your tiger tail and loosen it up, going back and forth with those same principles. Now I'm going to link the tiger tail down below in the description for whoever's interested in purchasing it. It's about $30 and it's just a great purchase. And we're just going to loosen up this area right in the side. Again, you can hold in certain spots to help loosen it up if you feel any tender areas. All right, guys, now we're going to do the biggest muscle that supports the ankle, and that's the calf. Now, I showed how to foam roll the calf with a long foam roller, see above, and I'll link it in the description below for the video we did on that, but it's really a difficult thing to do, and it's much easier to do with a tiger tail. One of the major sources of restriction in the ankle is the calf. It's so important that we loosen this up before we get going further. So, same thing like we did before, but we're coming to the back, and we're going to do the calf. Now the calf, see picture over here, has two heads. That one head goes over here and one head goes on the other side. It's called the medial and lateral gastroc heads, so we want to do it at an angle. So here we're doing the inside of the back of the calf area. And then we're going to switch it and do the outside of the calf area. Same thing like we did before. You can hold on a few spots if you feel some discomfort and let it release. And then just roll it out, outside and inside. The first exercise we're gonna do to improve the mobility of the ankle, it's a great way to loosen up the range of motion, is what's called the ankle alphabet and ankle pumps. So you're just gonna take a bolster, put it under your calf. I'm using a foam roller. You could really use anything. Props and pillows up would be totally fine, just so that the ankle is loose. And then you're gonna start writing the ABCs with your ankle. So easy to do in bed before you go to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, when you're just sitting on the couch watching Netflix. I'm already on D over here. Usually I'll have people do uppercase and lowercase. Now the thing with this exercise is, make sure you're not turning the whole leg when you do it. Make sure it's only the ankle that's doing the work, not the whole hip. The other thing you can do is do ankle circles, where you're going just all around with the ankle. You can do clockwise and counterclockwise. Again, make sure you're just turning the ankle, no turning of the hip. And then the third thing you can do is what's called ankle pumps, where you bring the toes all the way up and all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. You can do about 20 to 30 times of those. Just a great 5 to 10 minute routine to do when you're just hanging out on the couch or in bed to improve your mobility of the ankle. All right, guys, next great exercise to improve the mobility of the ankles. You may have seen me do this one before for the hips. It's called the windshield wipers, but these are for ankles, so they're called ankle windshield wipers. And so what we're gonna do is, in this long sit position, have your legs spread, and then we're gonna bring the ankles all the way in till you feel a nice stretch on the outside of them, and then all the way out. Ankles in and out. Very simple, feels great, really loosens it up the joint, and great dynamic stretch to do about 20 to 30 times on each side. All right, I know you guys are all waiting to see how you stretch the calf out in the back. That's the most famous of all the ankle stretches. But I want to show you another one first before we get to that. And that's stretching out this muscle over here that we worked on before. And all you're going to do is, sitting down, you're going to take your hand on the top of the foot and then just bring it down like that in towards you. And you'll feel a nice stretch in what's called the tibialis anterior muscle in the front of the leg. Typically 30 to 60 second holds. Should feel the stretch right over here, and just do it on each side. Easy to do when you're sitting down. All right, guys, so before we were doing a bunch of exercises to loosen up both the calf muscle and the joint. Now we're specifically focusing on the joint. So for this exercise, you need a belt, because that's gonna provide you the self-mobilization. Once you have a belt, or you can use a stretch out strap or a dog leash, something to give you tension, we're gonna put it around the ankle joint over here. Once it's around the ankle joint, then we're gonna lunge forward. You could do this on a stool. You don't have to do it on a chair. I've got a chair here, so I'm doing it on a chair. And you can, instead of using your left hand to provide the resistance, you could tie it on something like the bedpost or a chair, anything like that, to make sure you keep the tension. And we're just gonna lunge forward. So we're lunging forward with the knee, and we're keeping the left hand completely stable. And you should feel a nice stretch right in this area. You may also feel a bit of a stretch in the back here, and that's fine as well. And just lunging forward, it's just really a great stretch to improve the mobility of the ankle, 20 to 30 times on each side. Another great ankle mobilization is what's called the half kneel self-mobilization. So what we're gonna do is, similar to that test I showed you at the beginning of the video, we're gonna grab the tiger tail, point it down here. If you don't have a tiger tail, you can use any kind of a stick that you can put right at your toes. And then what we're gonna do is lunge forward with the knee till you feel a nice stretch either in the front or back of the ankle, and come back. Now the reason we're using a pull here is because you don't want to bring the knee and collapse your arch in. You want to make sure you maintain the integrity of the arch while getting that mobilization. So by providing the stick here, it forces your knee to go outside. And so you don't want to come inside the stick, you want to keep it outside so you maintain the integrity of the arch. And again, just like with the last exercise, about 20 to 30 times on each side. All right, guys, now the moment you've all been waiting for. How do you stretch out the calf? So here's the thing, we need a little bit of an anatomy lesson before we continue with the next two stretches. So the calf muscle is made up of two specific muscles called the gastrocnemius and the soleus. Here's the gastroc, here's the soleus. Pay attention to these pictures because when we do these stretches, they're completely different if we're talking about the gastroc and the soleus. I'm going to show you two stretches, one for each of those muscles. Let's get into it. For the gastrocnemius stretch, we're going to bring that foot all the way back. And then you're going to lean forward. This is also called a runner stretch. You're going to feel a great stretch in the calf muscle. Make sure that knee is straight. The gastrocnemius connects into the ankle and the knee. That's why we have to keep the knee straight for this one, so you get that full stretch from behind the knee into the ankle. Something to be very careful about with this stretch. Make sure the foot is not turned out so your arch is not collapsing and you're not getting that full stretch when you do that. Make sure the ankle is turned in so you feel that full stretch in the back of your calf. About 30 to 60 second hold for this, a couple of times on each leg. The soleus muscle connects much lower down right at the Achilles tendon area and does not attach into the knee. So because of that, just like when the knee is straight and we're doing the gastroc stretch, for the soleus stretch, we're going to bring the foot a little closer and we're actually going to bend the knee. And so you're going to feel that stretch much closer down to the ankle versus from the knee to the ankle. But it's the same idea. We're going to hold it for about 30 to 60 seconds, 1 to 2 times on each side. Again, make sure the foot is not like that, but it's fully straight. And you're just going to have that knee bent instead of having the knee straight. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. Guys, definitely comment down below if after doing all these stretches and exercises, you were able to get your knee to touch the wall. Because if you were, that is awesome. If not, keep working on it and you will eventually be able to do so. If you guys are interested in purchasing the Tiger Tail, I've linked that in the description down below as well. Have an awesome day. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you next time.